Yeah, hey, drop. Yeah, hey, drop. Yeah, hey, drop.
Every player on the ice has a 10-minute misconduct, among other penalties.
I have never.
Hello, my fellow Fed folks. How is everybody doing on this almost Christmas holiday season? We're joined this week by the only, one and only ever, back-to-back championship head coach, Brant Sherwood from the Binghamton Black Bears. Thank you so much, Jersey, for coming on. I cannot thank you enough. I'm obviously fangirling a little over here. How you doing?
Well, thanks for having me, guys, and appreciate us having the chat tonight. And I know I've had a lot of 10-minute misconducts in my past, so I love the intro that you guys just had there.
Thank you. Anna did a lot of that work putting that together. So shout out to Anna for all that hard work. But we tried to be a little unhinged over here. So, it's really easy for me to come in and start with probably 101,000 questions that we don't have time for. But I'm really interested to know. So, Binghamton and Binghamton hockey is special to me because that's where my hockey is, right? What makes Binghamton hockey so special to you?
I would have to say it's just one big family, and Andreas, he said it a bunch of times, but we just did 2 Christmas parties, one last night, one the week before, and you get to know your fans on a personal level, and it creates such a special relationship and bond between our locker room and the fans and just the overall community. So yeah, I would say the support just kind of makes it so much different than any other place in minor league hockey.
Definitely having the family aspect and stuff, especially with a lot of the players not from there, not anywhere close to there and stuff. That's definitely one of those things to try to help them feel as though it's almost a second home, and definitely keeping the players there also kind of helps, you know.
Yeah, we have a couple guys living here over the summer. Who knows if they're going to be sticking around for the rest of their lives? Like, some guys do that in the National League and AHL. Developing a home base, and once their second home becomes their first home. So I'm sure that's going to happen with some of our guys that played here for over a few years.
I could definitely see it. I could
Oh,
definitely.
you guys have that a lot in Columbus. A lot of players
Yeah.
that played in Columbus, they end up sticking around, and it's one of the things that Jerome Bichard always said to me. He's like, find a home wherever you go, and this has definitely become a second home for myself too.
You know,
Now,
I was going to say that's some solid advice. I like that.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. Now, are you from the New York area originally?
I am. So I'm from Rochester, New York, and grew up playing hockey up there. My sister was a figure skater. That's how I got into it. And then
Oh, cool.
the junior hockey world gets you bouncing around. Played in Syracuse, played in Alberta, went to boarding school. So kind of got to touch every piece of hockey from 14 to 18, and yeah, you get to meet a lot of great people, and um, very happy I grew up in Western New York, where you know hockey trickles down from Canada, and now it's becoming a hockey hotbed in some sorts. Guys don't have to travel away from Rochester. They can play in their backyard, and they have really good prep schools now, junior teams, and all that. So it's cool to see the game grow in that area.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask, since you mentioned juniors, and I know you did a few seasons for two schools, I believe, three schools, if is that right?
Yeah. Yep.
So you've been on both sides of the bench, which I think makes your resume super strong. Do you think that has been very helpful knowing what it's like coming from the player side, and how was the transition from player to coach?
It, you know what? It is. It was a little difficult because I was close to the guy's age, and I have a very young baby face too. So some of the players look older than I do. So I kind of had to come in and lay down the hammer and make sure that everyone knew it was my team, and I was going to do everything I could to help us get to that championship. So it was a little bit of a transition, but honestly, like making that as your job transition, and now that I think about it, was very easy. Going to kind of a real world job, that's a little bit more difficult. I'm just so lucky to be able to stay in the game of hockey, and get to hang out in the locker room, crack jokes with these guys, and I feel like a player, every now and then, and I got to remind myself to separate from the guys.
That's fair.
So speaking of players, we've talked to a lot of players over the years, and one of the things that they talk about, like whenever we ask, like, what's your favorite away barn? It's not every single time, but it's pretty often that players will say that one of their favorite away barns to play in is the Binghamton barn, and they talk about the atmosphere and how it's just a different atmosphere than many other places. And as someone who sits right behind the bench with a loud mouth, I'd like to buy into the thought that we have a seventh man syndrome that's pretty accurate. How do you feel about that? Do you feel that Binghamton has
100%. I've played in some pretty good places myself, and I would compare this place to like Huntsville in the SPHL or Toledo in the ECHL, Florida Everblades. It's always packed, it's always loud, and I really think our video production crew does a great job of engaging the fans and keeping it relevant, and getting chants going, like the burger goal, or pass of the game. Just like it's very live, and it really gets the people engaged, and there's really no place like Binghamton, and it's a great recruiting tool for me, and I'm sure the players feed off it a whole lot more than I do, but they absolutely love it here, and so do I.
So on
I
the
think that oh, sorry, Sam. You go ahead.
reverse side of that, do you have a barn that you don't like to play in for kind of the same reason, or maybe it's too quiet, almost like a golf course? Like,
Oh, Sam, I got you, man. And it is Danbury, 1000%. It's been like this for a few years, and just the away locker room hospitality. It's tough and to really test our guys, but maybe that's why they come out and score 8 goals on Saturday, because we don't get warm showers after the game, and the guys have to ride on the bus for 3 hours, stinking up the place. We don't have
They're
the
still doing the
outlets
cold
for
shower
it.
thing.
Yeah, Dan Weaver had to kill a mouse at the beginning of the year. It's different, and it adds fuel to the fire and gives us a little bit more motivation when we play those guys. But that's the place I hate the most. I respect their team and ownership, but there definitely needs to be some improvements in the away locker room setup. Maybe turn up the temperature a little bit. You can see our breath before the game in the locker room. So there's my little rant there. But yeah, it's definitely difficult, but it feels great when you're over there.
Been doing a lot of that this year.
yeah.
Oh, Sam, did you? Oh, you did. It's my turn. I'm so sorry. So one thing I wanted to mention, I'm sure you've seen the Trashers documentary. And I remember one of the things in there was the tiny hand towels as towels, the cold showers, things of that nature. So it's not funny, but
It
it's a
is.
little
It's
fun.
kind of
Yeah, it's
fun.
a little
Yeah.
funny to mess with the team. And I thought that you would say Danbury. It kind of reminds me of like in the South, it's, Columbus and the Thunderbirds have the biggest rivalry, in my opinion, or at least longer than some of the other teams. So what team in the South would you say is probably who you would face? Everybody obviously already projects you guys to go back to the championship. And I can tell you, I think just about every um, guest we've had on, when we've asked their prediction on what team they're going to face, from the Empire, who everybody says bingo. So with that being said, what's your dark horse pick, or what team do you think you guys are gonna? Please tell me it's not Thunderbirds again, because been there, done that.
Yeah. We like playing the Thunderbirds, and I respect the hell out of Steve and what he does down there, and they have a great team. But if I was going to predict, I would say Athens or Monroe. And we faced Athens. It was just over a few weeks ago, and on Friday night for the game one on the weekend, we got served some humble pie. They totally outplayed us, and we were chasing the puck the entire game. We really didn't have any puck possession, and that's kind of not our style. But we didn't work hard enough to get the puck back, and it was a great wake up call for us. Sometimes you learn a ton from losses, and we came back the next day and had a great game and executed in all different areas of the ice. But yeah, I'd say Athens, but I wish we got to play a couple more teams down south. I love playing Columbus, and we'd like to see Monroe too. But yeah, I think Monroe's a sleeper. They have a great forward group, and I think they're a force to be reckoned with. It, they got one of our goaltenders, Aggie, and he's been doing
Mm-hmm.
great down there as well. So we'll see how that goes. But over here, we just try to take it one day at a time, not look ahead, and that's my job. Is to hold these guys accountable and make sure that we're just executing in practice like today, and then focusing on special teams tomorrow, and then Danbury on Friday. So we try not to get too far ahead, but that's the end goal, and that's where we want to be is in the championship, competing for another one.
So I'm going to kind of steal a question here from good old Bobby Howard on the Power Play Post Show, because he asked you in the beginning of the year, I think it was, how many games you thought we could win, and very confidently you had said that you thought we could win them all, and I honestly believed you. And we're only down two, but so
Yeah.
far we're 7-0. Well, we're 7-0 for wins. I know we've had two overtime / shootout wins against Danbury this year, but we've still taken them all. How realistically, out of the rest of the games we have this year against Danbury, what percentage chance do you think we take? How many of the rest of the games do you think we take with Danbury this season?
Um, I hope we don't have too many more games against those guys.
A little bit
But
much.
I honestly think we can take them all. And I'm not trying to be cocky, but I just, look roster to roster, how we operate here, our coaching staff, just like from forwards, defense to goaltending across the board. I do think we should win every one of those games, but you still got to go out there and play. You lace them up the same, and those guys that compete hard against us, especially in their own building. That's where we tend to struggle a little bit. But we expect to win every game against Danbury.
Also, really quickly, we were just talking about Eggy. Did you see that Eggy Man went for a goalie fight this weekend?
I absolutely love it. That
I do too.
the Eggman's got a ton of heart, and he would do anything for his teammates. So I'm happy to see him in the net playing. He already has 2 wins, and sticking up for his teammates. It's that was so fun to see, and I wish that the linesman let that one go.
I know.
Gave the people what they wanted, but
Yes.
They
obviously
really did a
the
disservice to the
safety
fans.
side of the game.
Yeah, that's another one of those. I mean, goalie fights are super rare, and you had the perfect chance. And
Oh, let it happen, Sam. Come on.
100%.
Literally.
oh man. So I seen with your playing career and stuff before you decided to go the coaching route, you played quite a bit with the SPHL, year in the ECHL and stuff. Do you think that experience, playing at that level, definitely has helped you kind of bring maybe that style of play to bingo? Or do you think that had any effect on you coaching it all?
1,000%. I learned a lot from the coaches I played for in the SPHL and ECHL. If you look at who the coach was of Norfolk, it's Robbie Fatorik, Hall of Famer, captain of the Quebec Nordiques, Rangers. You just take pieces of everywhere you've been. We have a little bit of Robbie Fatorik. We have a little bit of Dan Bremner, Derek Landmaster, Rod Eldoff, Fran Gao, some of these legendary coaches I played for. And, you take what you like and you leave back the stuff that you might not like, or you think you would do with your team, but you try to personalize it yourself. And, I like to say we take a lot of pride in playing hockey the right way, and that's where I learned it from. So I tried to bring it here to Binghamton. It seems to work. I look at other teams and I just see a lot of comfort, casualness when it comes to D zone on the forecheck, stuff like that. And that's just a non-negotiable in our room. And I think the guys like to be challenged. And lately we've been saying, anytime an SP team calls me for a player, when are we going to play? When are we going to have a neutral site game or something like that? So, yeah, it's helped me a ton, the places I've played. And I just try to bring that to our locker room. And, still the same thing the coaches taught me and to these guys.
I like it.
I'm curious from a coach's point of view. I imagine it's very difficult not to get close with your guys, especially when they're with you for seasons at a time. When trades come in, when you got to cut a player, what kind of things goes into those conversations? Because I know behind the scenes, the average fan is not seeing the personal relationship and the toll that can take on a player. So how do you go about handling those hard conversations?
To be honest, it sucks. It's the absolute worst because that's kind of the first thing I go for is to build a relationship, get to know them on a personal level. Outside the rink, I've had coaches where, they didn't talk to you your whole rookie year. You walk past them in the hallway and you just get a straight stare. That's not me. And I try to create a friendship with these guys, and that's the crappy part about sitting in the seat is you have to make those tough decisions sometimes for what you think is the betterment of the team, and you could be wrong. You could be right. I feel like I've always done what's best for this team with those decisions, but it's never any easier. It always is tough to deliver that news, but one good thing that we have is we got a locker room dog, Tucker. So he's kind of good to deliver bad news in some of those situations. I'm gonna wave my arms in the air. The motion light got off a little bit.
If I could piggyback off of that, I want to hear about Tucker.
All
Do you
right.
have Tucker? We are a pet friendly.
Yes.
Tucker's the cutest ever.
We are very pet friendly here at 10 minutes. Oh my
There's
God.
Oh, Tucker.
He's my right hand man. He helps with picking the starting goalie for the night. If he walks left, we start C-Mac. If he walks right, we start Dob. No,
I love it.
no, he gets to bounce around the room. Get some bacon in the morning, have a little piece of a bagel, spills guys coffee. It's
Tucker.
awesome having a dog in the room, and I actually got that from Dan Bremner in Roanoke. He always had his dog Carl in the locker room, and I thought it was so cool and kind of lightens the mood. And you could be having a bad day, but if Tucker's greeting you at the door, it's kind of gets them going. Yeah. And shows that, there's much more to hockey.
I love that. Tucker, I hope you get spoiled for Christmas from all the fans.
He definitely will.
A lot of pets.
So there's quite a few questions, and I know I've missed some, and I'll go back to them. I'm not ignoring anybody. But Scott Dragon just posed a really good question that kind of bounces off of one of the things that you just said. He goes, so I'm going to change his comment just a little bit. So when we win the third championship in a row, what are your thoughts on talking to Andreas about moving the team to the SPHL?
That's a great question.
I honestly think that our league's growing where we don't even need to look into that. So I do think the bottom half of the league needs to kind of pick it up a little bit to kind of match, I would say, the top 6-7 teams in the league. But I feel like our league's getting better each and every year where, I would hope that it would stay afloat and nothing would ever happen like that. But I think one cool thing would be to have like an SPHL, FPHL championship series. I think it would be awesome to see, the leagues face off, or maybe in the middle of the year doing like an all-star game or.
Oh yeah, that'd be so cool.
But we would need the bigger heads to get together and come up with that. But I like that his thoughts, because no, we would love to compete against any team in the SPHL.
And I'm also going to jump off that too. Actually, Scott, same thought. Do you think the league may be expanding too fast, or do you think it's a couple teams every year is decent?
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good question. I do think, some of the teams we brought in they come in and they're ready to go, and they have the proper financials to back the team, or they have the rink ready, like, and when I say a rink, an arena that I would hope to hold like over 2,000. I think that should be like a bare minimum requirement. So when it comes to expanding, like, you don't want to expand for expand's sake. It's and I do think we could do a little bit better of due diligence looking into some places that we bring in, because you don't want that to be gone after a year or two. You want it to be sustained. So I do think the arena that they got up in Minnesota, the travel's going to be a little tough, but as long as they got a good boss, I do believe it'll work. So it's about picking the right places, but I wish we slowed down just a little bit, and maybe one team a year. But I'm not in the position to do that, and I respect a lot of the decisions that the league's made. That's for sure. Bringing in Athens, Monroe, Baton Rouge, like those are legitimate cities that have a good fan base.
So I have a fun question. Really quick, I want to give a shout out to Scott and Shahela and my mom, of course. She watches every week. So hey, mom. So my question, they mic up the players, which is fun. I wish they would like just across the league would do it more. You don't really see a coach get mic'd up very often, or even an official for that matter. So what kind of things are you discussing, just as a coach in general, not necessarily something this season, but when you have to argue with the ref, how does that go? What kind of things do you say to them?
I ask them if they had their coffee before the game, if they're awake, if they're a little alert, because sometimes I do think, sleeping off the start or in our own building, a little starstruck by the crowd, and they might get a little mesmerized. But I would be comfortable miking up this year. Years in the past, I feel like I've matured a whole lot this year with the officials, and you get to know them on a first name basis, and make sure they get some beers after the game, and they're all taken care of, and they're allowed to work out in our gym and get warmed up and stuff. So I've gotten to know these guys a whole lot better, and it's something that I wanted to progress with my bench management skills, is to be able to reach these guys a little bit more. But there's a lot of sarcasm, and letting them know they might owe us one or need to pick it up or look out for this. But I've been letting our leadership group kind of handle those conversations as well, and relay the message.
Do you mean like your captains and your alternates? Like, okay.
Yeah, Tyson's pretty level-headed. Jesse Anderson, Dan Stone, Gavin and I, we like the mouth off sometimes, so we typically send Tyson over there.
Have you ever been successful in like overturning something that they may have originally called, or kind of won that battle?
Yeah, I got 4 coaches challenges last year, and the one that I lost, kind of threw a hissy fit after because I didn't think it was a high stick, and they were looking on a cell phone in the scorer's box when it was supposed to be a tablet. And yeah, that was a whole thing. That was fun. Now looking back on it, I was like, what the heck is going on? But no, we ended up going on the penalty kill for that, so I was pretty upset because I truly believed we were right in that situation. But yeah, I haven't done any challenges this year. It's been pretty clear cut, but we ended up getting Austin Durazio's suspension rescinded to 1 game. So that news,
sweet.
that's breaking news, I guess. But we talked with Dave yesterday, and had a great discussion, and he kind of saw our point of view, and we came to agreement that it should only be one game. And I do think it was unfortunate timing, and kind of a vulnerable play, and just happy to have Austin back for Saturday. But he definitely deserves a suspension for Friday for getting the old Gordy up in the air.
I don't think he needed the suspension, but I don't know.
It was an elbow. It was an elbow to the
Okay.
head, but it was kind of a unorthodox move, and he
Yeah.
ended up playing like 5 or 6 shifts after. So I'm sure he's going to be in the lineup Friday night, and injury does play a big factor into these suspensions.
Yeah. That does make sense. So, can you explain to us and the fans a little bit kind of how those challenges go? So, not even just the Durazio situation, but like any of these situations where the league says, you suck, here's 5 games. How does that work with rescinding that? Like, what is that process like?
Well, you need video to support it, so you need to provide new video evidence, and then you just need to list some facts. Like, yeah, uh, our director of officiating does not want to hear your opinion about it, and rightfully so. It's just kind of state your facts, give some new video evidence, and then they set up a call after that, and you have a conversation with Dave and sometimes Paul and sometimes our commissioners on it. But it was just with Dave this week, and he saw our point of view and he made his points, and yeah, we came up with one game and totally respect the decision. If he would have stuck with two, we would have respected it as well. But then we would have compared that to our next suspension, and that's where it gets it can get a little dicey sometimes when you're doing these comparisons. And because I looked at the Zach Desmarais cross check face way worse, and that was 2 games. So that was a little bit of part of our argument for a comparable suspension.
It does make sense. I wish there was more transparency across the league with conversations like this. And this is something that we as the 10-minute team kind of hope to be able to bring light to. But like, I don't know how you feel about like what the league does or what you can even say about you feel about it if there was a negative feeling about it.
I
However, I wish there was more transparency with like, hey, this is how we decide this. Which like Dave's been great with putting out the notes and saying this is why I made this decision, but more about that actual process of like this is how a coach's challenge go. This is how a rescission request goes or stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I do think some things need to stay internal
For
with the
sure.
league. But one thing that I would recommend is having on one of the supervisors or one of the directors of officiating or Sarge. He's a great guy that knows every single rule in this league. But yeah, I guess I'm willing to answer some of them,
Yeah.
and I try to be as transparent as possible. And I think the league does do a great job of relaying the message with the fans. Typically, in other leagues, they just say, like for Austin Durazio, hit to the head, suspended 2 games, nothing said after that. So, I do think they are making an extra effort to keep the fans updated with it. But with the processes, maybe you can't disclose that information. I don't quite know, but I guess I spilled the beans there.
We're fine with that.
Heard it here first. The so kind of sticking with that as well. The league, what was it, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, they swapped from 20 something players down to 19.
Mhm.
Now, are you a fan of that, or would you rather have a few extra guys? Like, what's kind of your take? Limiting the amount of guys you're able to have in play.
I would like more guys because I would like to keep my guys so they wouldn't go somewhere else. But I completely understand, making this league competitive, and some of my recruiting trickles to other teams, and they end up having a ton of individual success with their next squad. So I understand that we need parity and we need competition each and every night. So whatever they tell me, I'm gonna do. We're just gonna always try to play within the rules, and if they say 20 or 21 or 19, we'll make it work. It just those decisions get harder, and as we talked about before, some of those decisions really suck when you create a relationship with some of these guys.
So before moving on to our next question, I just want to give a shout out and a quick clip to our sponsors, Matraca Time. If we could go ahead and roll our clip for them, but they are noisemakers made out of broken twigs. And these are from 3 of my billets. I've got like the goalie handle and all their broken twigs over the years. So he can make custom and he can also do them from regular sticks. But we'll go ahead and roll the clip so you guys can kind of see what they do.
Let's go!
Pretty cool.
Yeah, they're awesome. I
They're
love them for
pretty
the
awesome.
sentiment, but they definitely get people's attention, especially when you're in an arena that doesn't have them yet. They definitely get the guys kind of looking around like what's going on. So
Maybe I'll
um,
use it on the bench to get the boys to change a little quicker. We've been
yeah,
having some extended.
Listen, I will bring mine and hand it down to you. Okay,
yeah, that
don't
would actually
threaten
be
me with a good
cool.
I,
time.
I want
I
to see a video.
I think those players would rip it out of my hands. Shut up, coach.
We don't
I
need this.
Yeah.
I have a question. So after playing, you moved into the kind of an assistant coach role with the Dragons. You did some scouting for them as well. What kind of things go into scouting? The things that, not the obvious stuff, like the things that fans behind the scene don't, what are you looking for when you're watching a player or you're reviewing their film or their statistics too?
Well, with that year, I just recruited my friends to come
Nice.
down. So it was Garrett Sargis, Nate O'Brien, um, Mac Jansen, CJ Stubbs, Matty O'Day, the captain of Roanoke. So that was a little bit easier for me. It's like, hey guys, come on down. Krupi and I have a great thing going on with Jerome, and we got to be able to convince some of those SP guys, and I think that was the first trend of really SP guys, a numerous amount coming down and buying in and playing for a great organization like Columbus, and what Jeff Krupp does down there and how he treats the players and provides them great housing, and they have an awesome facility as well. They got the practice rink, they have a sick locker room, and a great coach. So that was an awesome year, but the recruiting was much different because I had all the contacts and just needed to pick up the phone, and I knew how they played and just had to convince them to come down and continue playing hockey because there was only so many teams to play for. But I really do think that was a pivotal year for the Federal Hockey League because, those guys enjoyed it and got to see it, and got to see it live, and, not have horror stories from it that,
Yeah.
some other organizations had. Now it's, I guess I would just go to my first year. I recruited 16 rookies, and it's a lot of film. It's a lot of, college connections. I really went the college route, and that was something I learned from the SPHL. You have to have turnover, and you have to bring in new college kids. So that was a big part of my recruiting process, was just attacking college kids and getting on the email with their coaches, having conversations, seeing who they have, talking to the players, seeing what type of person they are, then watching their hockey, and then following up a week after that, and they're talking to other teams, and you're trying to convince them to come to your team, and it's something that I think I've done really well, and I think other teams are trying to mimic, is bringing college players, convince SP players to come down and
Mhm.
and play, and you're gonna have just as good of a time if you're in the Southern Pro as if you're in the Federal Hockey League.
I think it says a lot about your scouting and a lot about the league as a whole. And I think more people should want to recruit that way. And, I was unfortunately one of the haters at first that was like,
It's okay.
what the hell is he doing to our team? And
It's
then
okay. You fall in love with these
y-
guys. They're good
you
people.
do. And, I've told
Mhm.
people when there's a lot of hate online, and I'll say this to anybody, I doubted Brant once and he proved me wrong twice. So
Thank you.
what am I gonna do? Sit here and be like, I got rid of another one. And that was actually one of the questions I had on here too. So I guess I'll go with that. Is one, I kind of want to know how you deal with the haters so much. And I've seen a lot online lately, a lot of hate for CMAC. And like we were talking off camera earlier, where like even Anna was professing love in a way for CMAC. And like we all love CMAC, but all of a sudden online there's all this hate, and How do you deal with that from your position, and what do you have to say
To be
respectfully
honest,
to those?
I was really bothered by it because I was always a fan favorite player, so it wasn't something I was used to, and you know, I struggled with it. My wife knew that, it got me all riled up sometimes, and I think you just got to stick to your guns, and if you truly believe in yourself and believe in what you're trying to accomplish, it's so rewarding in the end when you see it all come together. But yeah, it's tough, but I think you just need to, get a callus and get used to it. It's a position you signed up for, so you're gonna get ridiculed and you're gonna be the front of it. So yeah, like get used to it, and I'm super happy for that experience because it taught me a lot, and it it's not about me. It's always about the players and the team. So what if they're coming at me? I love it because then it takes the distraction off the players. And I haven't seen anything about CMAC online, but the guy's goaltender of the year, playoff MVP. You know,
Exactly.
we have a healthy competition with him and Dom right now, and kind of going back and forth. And we also have another good goaltender in Wyatt Friedlander. So it it's hockey. Like when there was weeks where I had 10 points in 2 or 3 weeks, and then there was 4 weeks where I didn't have a single point, and you kind of go through those ups and downs, and how you manage it emotionally is truly key. And I think that's just with the support of your teammates and just putting your head down and going to work. That's basically it.
Just to be clear, I absolutely adore C-Mac. He's like one of my favorite on the whole team. He was the first Binghamton Black Bear we ever had on the show. I absolutely adore C-Mac. There's been a couple posts that I had seen where people are like, oh, he let one in. I'd rather not see him in goal. And I'm like, dude, how can you come down? First of all, how can you dislike C-Mac to begin with? Second of all, playoff MVP, goaltender of the year. Who are we judging? I would like to see I'd like to see some other people's performances before
When that guy's on,
we come
it's
at
pretty
him.
scary, and you can just ask Carolina or Twin City about it. Like he stood on his head in every game in the championship series. I'll never
Absolutely.
forget the save he had against Gus Ford, cutting across the middle, and I think it was Gavin Yates was backtracking hard and took a player out, and all you could see is his glove kind of reach out and stop the shot when it was a completely empty net, and I think
Absolute robbery.
that moment just shows you a lot about who CMAC is. He's got quit in him, and I'll tell you what, that he's not satisfied with his game. I'm happy with CMAC this year, and he's playing well. And I think the most important thing with goalies is getting the win. It like sometimes people look at the numbers like a little too much, but if you're getting wins, he's giving you the chance to do so. So, yeah, he's a resilient guy, and after losses, sometimes he comes into this gym next to my office and he just does squats after the game. He's so angry. So that guy truly cares, and I think he's like third in the league for 8% stuff goals against. So he's doing good, and we're
He's
lucky to
amazing.
hand that we had and that we've had in the past as well.
Mhm. There's been a lot of talk to include the recruiting and bringing players down from the SPHL and stuff. What are your thoughts if it were to happen? Would you be okay with essentially a merge of the SPHL and the FPHL?
I would love it. Yeah, I would absolutely love it. I think the SPHL is a great league, much like ours, and it would be cool to just have one single A league. That's just my opinion on it. Some other people might they like the separate leagues and each brings their own, but no, I think that'd be cool, and it would definitely you'd see a lot of different teams, and I think the schedules wouldn't, be as repetitive.
Mhm. Not the same team, 17
87 times.
a year.
It really ruffles feathers sometimes. You really get annoyed
It's
at
so
seeing it.
annoying.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think minus building that super solid rivalry, it would be nice I get logistics and costs and stuff, but it would be nice to see a mix up.
Yeah, it sure would. I'm really hoping that New Jersey team comes in. I know they're doing a neutral site game, so that would be awesome for us travel wise. And it sucks that Elmira didn't work out, because that would be another great as far as proximity goes. That would be awesome to play those guys and be able to race over there in an hour and back in your
Right.
bed by 11:30 or midnight.
So
Still able
I
to have a drink.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Speaking of drinks, my next question. I know the goal, obviously, get a cup every year. That's like the standard. What did you guys do after back-to-back cups? I want to hear about the celebration. You don't have to get you guys in trouble or anything, but
Oh,
was
it's
there
fine.
anything fun or wild that night?
Um, I'll tell you, the first championship, I had a bunch of my hometown buddies come up, and my family was there, and I think I fell asleep at like 1 a.m. So I didn't really get to enjoy it. That year was like a grind, and like it was more of a relief after it was over. I was like, we did it. Like everything that we said we were gonna do, we accomplished. We were kind of like the underdogs, and then the next year after we won it the second time, I really got to enjoy it, and I really got to have the late night out of like 3 a.m., 4 a.m., where the local bars are keeping it open for us, and drinks are flowing, and you're yeah, all the players stink. Like some of them didn't even shower. A couple of them are still wearing their jerseys, and yeah, you just kind of. I'm like picturing everything going on, and it's just craziness, because we just went bar hopping with the cup to each bar, and they're pouring it out on second floors down on the first floor with the cup, and people are getting drenched with booze, and yeah, it was a total blast. And yeah, the locker room stinks quite a bit after. We had that problem in Columbus as well. The cigar smoke is ridiculous, but no, it was awesome. And the second one, I'm sure the boys have more stories as far as how late they stayed up, and they continued drinking the next day. I'm a little bit older, so I think I started drinking in the afternoon at the Rumble Ponies game, and that's always fun. Is getting over there, going in their clubhouse, throwing out the pitch, and keeping the party going. But yeah, these guys probably partied for like 5-6 days. My wife pulled me back like on the second days, like, you gotta just leave the place alone. Like, you're the coach, like, relax.
That's so funny. I wish the cup could talk because we have had some players in the past. I've heard the cup got lost at bar hopping one time. I heard someone else like lost it in a pool for a few hours. So if the cup could talk, I would love to hear those stories.
Yeah, I was in I think I was there for that one, the pool. And then Gavin Yates' MVP trophy took a beating that one year. The top fell off, and we had to replace that. But yeah, if the cup could talk, that'd be awesome. I'm really thinking if you win it 3 years in a row, you just get to keep the thing.
Yeah, I mean,
You would
honestly,
think.
would you be the first team in FPHL history
We're
to
the
have the
first team
three-peat?
back to back.
Oh, okay. I
So
didn't even realize.
first team ever to do that. So yeah, we're looking to be the three-peat, or what the boys are calling it, the Triple Crown.
The Triple
Um,
Crown.
so yeah, guys have been saying that if we win it again, we're not being cocky, but if we do, we're keeping it. We're not giving it back.
I think that's fair, honestly. I mean, that sounds fair.
You earn full custody at that point.
Thanks for the support on that, guys. I don't know if John Landers would appreciate that too much.
Yeah. If you might accidentally lose it, it's okay. They can buy another
Maybe,
one.
yeah, it fell off the truck. We don't know where it is.
Yeah, and the following
Sucks.
year, the new cup's gonna have an Apple AirTag in it. I promise.
Yeah. That's a
Under
smart
the
play.
base or something. Now, do they add every year, almost like the Stanley Cup? Are they trying to do something like that, or is it 100% new cup each year?
No, they add to it every year, and it's cool seeing the names and seeing guys that you've come before you or guys that you've maybe played with, and you're like, oh, they won in 2018, or I always look at the Carolina Thunderbirds year they won it. I think it was like 2018-19. I ended up playing with a few of those guys because I started off in the FPHL in with the Berlin River Drivers, and a lot of those guys ended up going down to Carolina, so it's cool seeing their names on it. Like my buddy Jake Group, Josh Petro Antonio. They had a really awesome group, and it was cool to see different names. And now we got in our locker room, we have 3 playoff MVPs in there: Garrett Sargis, Connor McAnanama, and Gavin Yates.
That's impressive.
Well, that's hoping that Gavin comes back from this call up stint there, Brant.
I have
That
a feeling,
one might have.
I have a feeling he'll be back. We have a
Good to
great
hear.
relationship with Adirondack, and
Yeah.
a bunch of guys called up to Utica, and they expect some of them back on Saturday, Sunday. So he's playing right now. So this is now you got me thinking. I want to check in and see how he's doing. I'm so excited for him, and
I am too.
make that happen for a lot of guys this year. I've gotten quite a bit of calls from the ECHL, from Wheeling, Reading, Maine, Adirondack, saying that they're gonna use us this year, and whenever they're in need of guys, they're gonna give us a call, and we love helping guys pursue their dreams of playing at the high level. So hopefully we can get a couple more up there and get their dream to come true.
Have you ever had any guys turn it down?
CJ Stubbs, he just did it this week. Then we asked Gavin to go after. But yeah, CJ Stubbs, he's just like, I love it here so much, and I'm playing well, and I got a good little routine. And he goes, I've done it before. I have no desire to go up there for a weekend or two, and he loves being a Black Bear, and it was pretty humbling for him to say that, because I'm like, why do you want to go? And it just shows that we truly have something special again in our locker room, and kind of how we operate. It's it's second to none, and these guys really want to stay. And but anyone that wants to go up, we fully support as an organization, from Andreas and I.
Yeah, I think that's like really amazing, because I know it's a bittersweet moment, because you definitely always want to see your boys excelling, and sometimes it's hard to let them go. So, so we'll do one more round of questions before we wrap up. I have a question about, oh my gosh, sorry, ADHD moment. My question was, come back to me. I had it on the tip of my tongue. I don't know what. Oh, I got it. What has been the best advice you were given by a coach, and what is your go-to advice for a player that's maybe having a cold streak or just like mentally struggling? What do you say to help these guys?
So the best advice that I've received from a coach, I immediately in my brain went to Jerome Bichard and Dan Bremner. Jerome, I'll do both, because Jerome has his relationship with his players, and what he wants out of them is he wants them to just be a better person at the end of the year. If he can help that player become a better version of himself, and it just on the ice, off the ice, just a better human being in general, then you know what, that's a win for him, and that's a win in life that we're helping guys go in the right direction. And with it's because there's Jerome and Dan are so different in the sense that like Dan's analytical and very disciplined, and Jerome is more relationship based. So it kind of explains where I get my coaching from. But Dan Bremner always said, "Be the most prepared guy in the room." So that's what I bring to the table, and I make sure we're prepared for practice, prepared for the team we're playing for. Like I honestly don't think too many other coaches are putting in the work that John Quinville and I do to make sure these guys are ready for each and every weekend. Like we don't take a week off as far as like, oh, we're playing the same team again. No, we're like going over what we did wrong in the games, what we can do better. Even we'll show positive clips of like, hey, we need to keep doing this and harp on that. So those two things have really stuck with me. And for players that are in a rut and pointless, there's so many things. It's like we've had guys like stick their stick in the garbage can and swirl that around. Like in my position, I'm just like, hey, put your head down and go to work. Like this happens in hockey. Sometimes you don't get the bounces you want. And I think what I said before, like you can go a couple weeks without a point, and then boom, you have like a 5-point weekend. So it all comes back around, and the hockey gods will take care of you.
So, really quick, I did look up the score. It's currently 1-1 with the Thunder and the Wheelers. The goal was not by Gavin, but I would be willing to bet money that he will be on that score sheet tonight.
I hope so.
I do
We're
too.
all super proud of him and rooting for him.
Shahela had a really good question up here earlier. If you could draft or pick anyone at all in the league, who would you pick to bring to Binghamton?
I love that question.
That's not
Oh,
there
I
already.
love it.
Nobody.
Hmm.
Nobody. I
Okay.
really wouldn't. I've never traded for like another player. I did it once my first year and it ended up not working out, but I just like to recruit within and, find college kids or convince a couple SPHLers to come play for us, but no desire to pick up another guy. I mean, there's guys on Athens that was the first time this year that I was like, they're pretty good players. Garrett Milan, Neely, Shinkarik, Golan.
Hmm.
Like, I really like those guys, but I feel like I'm a player where like I just want to beat that. I don't want them on our team. We want to beat them, and I really love the guys that we have in our room. So yeah, I wouldn't take anyone else in the league.
Huh. Um, as a player, you always want to try to make it to the highest level that you can. Obviously, you want to be professional and stuff. But as a coach, I know you're happy with where you're at, but do you have any desire on potentially moving up in the future, or is it bingo or none?
No, I do. I definitely I want to reach my full potential and try to, climb that mountain. And the call started coming a lot sooner than I expected. I didn't know if the FPHL was too relevant in the hockey world, to be honest. And this summer I got some calls from some ECHL teams for the head coach position, and they ended up going with some other guys with a little bit better of a resume. But that's all I'm trying to do here is build up my resume. And there's just certain situations where I don't believe the grass is greener. Like I've been offered a coaching position in the SPHL that I've turned down to stay in Binghamton because I get treated great here. I'm close to my home in Philadelphia, and I love our players, but I love our fan base, but I love my relationship with our owner Andreas Johansson. Like he allows me to do my job, fully supports me, and even when, I've been acting up in the past, like I'm sure he could have, gave me a licking, and he bit his tongue and didn't, just fully supported me, and I can't thank him enough. So as far as single A goes, I am loyal to Binghamton, but if double A, triple A, Division One, high end Division Three comes around, I'm definitely open ears. I I won't necessarily leave if I think it's a lateral move. And sometimes that's like an assistant coach in the East Coast Hockey League is like, is that better? I don't know. So I battle with that decision. I know I could be an assistant coach in a lot of places, but kind of want to just build up my resume here and see where it takes me.
That's fair.
So to wrap things up, I want to ask two quick questions. One is, does pineapple belong on pizza? That's our weekly question. We've asked it every season. So what are your thoughts?
I do like it. It's just I don't do the ham with the pineapple. I'll do pepperoni and pineapple. It's
Yeah.
not like or it's not one of my go-tos, but I do actually like it.
The general consensus for the most part, almost everybody says yes. So that's pretty cool. And then my last thing to wrap things up, if your fans are watching, is there anything that you'd like to say to them?
We love you guys. We feed off you, and keep showing up and showing out. We appreciate your support, and it just makes this place so special, and I feel lucky to be here, and I know these players do as well. So just appreciate the love, and happy holidays to the Binghamton fan base.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. It's been great. We'd loved having you on, and we would love to have some more Bears on in the future as well. So we wish you the best of luck. And even as a Dragon fan, I think it'd be kind of cool to see the three-peat, but I will never admit that to my fans. So nobody screen record that. But best of luck in the future, and thank you so much for joining us.
Hey,
Thank
hopefully
you
it's
so
us and the
much.
River Dragons in the finals. That would be fun too.
I would
So
love that.
yeah,
Sam, you're coming down this time.
I could go up, not down.
Well, you're coming
Yeah.
up this time, okay?
I'd
Awesome,
see you.
guys.
All right.
All right, guys. Well,
Thank
you
you
all have
guys
a good
so
night. We'll
much.
see you guys next week. Thank you.
Have a good one. See you guys.
Bye.
All right. Take care.
Bye.